President Trump now on the ground in Malaysia, the first leg of a high-stakes tour. Trade, of course, at the top of the president's agenda, with this trip expected to culminate in a summit with Chinese President Xi Jinping. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer joins us a little bit earlier to preview the rest of this trip. Ambassador, welcome to Fox News Sunday.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
All right, so news trickling out this morning very early says that you and your Chinese counterparts have at least reached the contours of a deal. It goes to the leaders now. How close are you to getting this across the finish line?
Well, it's really going to depend on President Trump and President Xi. We've had very constructive conversations yesterday and this morning to find a path forward where we can have more access to rare earths from China. We can try to balance out our trade deficit with sales from the United States, and we can have what I would say continued pause on some of the actions we've taken against each other.
So part of what China would do with respect to the rare earths is they would require exporters anywhere in the world, starting in December, to seek approval from Beijing to sell products or components that include Chinese rare earths or were made with Chinese rare earths related equipment. Obviously gives them quite a bargaining chip in these conversations. But news coming out this morning says that there is some deferral or an understanding for hope of deferring that particular problem.
Well, I won't comment too much on the details, but I will say that our goal is to make sure that those controls that are very expansive do not go into effect. This is something that would affect not only the United States, it would also affect the rest of the world. It would gum up trade. It would give China control over technology transactions. It's completely unacceptable. So that's one of the major objectives of these talks, and I think we're progressing toward that goal very well.
So President Trump has said the first thing he wants to talk about with President Xi is the issue of fentanyl. China says that it has been working with the U.S. and international players on that issue, and essentially that the tariffs, the pressure on China with regard to fentanyl are, quote, just a pretext. I understand that has been discussed. What can you tell us on that front?
Well, first of all, none of it is a pretext. Fentanyl is a scourge in our country. It's been well documented. It kills hundreds of thousands of Americans, and a lot of the inputs come from China. So that was certainly part of our discussions over the past 2 days, is how we can work better with China. If China can control rare earths and other things, it can certainly control fentanyl and the imports for fentanyl. So I think if there's a path forward for China to do better on controlling those products, then there's a path forward on the U.S. side with respect to the trade treatment for China.
Soybeans also a huge issue. Bloomberg reporting this, saying a country that last year purchased $13 billion of U.S. beans, more than 20% of the entire crop, for animal feed and cooking oil, officially still hasn't booked a single shipment from this fall's bounty. The president says they've stopped buying soybeans, trying to hurt our farmers, but, quote, he's not going to let that happen. Was that part of the discussion today as well?
This was part of the discussion. We're quite focused on making sure that China buys our agricultural products. It's soybeans, it's sorghum, and it's other things. China actually has not covered up all its soybean needs for December and January, so they still really need American product. And we expect that China will need to resume those kinds of purchases if they want to have a good deal with the United States.
There are so many issues that involve China and that entire region. Taiwan is one of them as well. Reuters reporting this, saying the fear in Taipei, which has long enjoyed strong unofficial support from Washington, is that a Trump-Xi meeting next week in South Korea could see some sort of, quote, selling out of Taiwan's interests by Trump to Xi. Will that be part of the president's conversation? And how should Taiwan interpret U.S. support at this point?
Well, it certainly was not part of our trade talks. Wasn't mentioned one time, not at all. When we meet with the Chinese for the broader bilateral talks in Korea, it's the kind of thing that the Chinese almost always raise, right? They have a variety of things that are issues for them that they always raise. Will they raise Taiwan? I don't know, but it certainly does not figure into our trade talks in any way.
So as those talks continue here at home, the shutdown continues, and so there's a bit of a critique of this particular trip and the work that you're doing. doing. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer saying this: while Americans are struggling to make ends meet, federal workers are going without pay, and millions of families are bracing for soaring health care costs, the president is leaving the country. America is shut down, and the president is skipping town. He goes on to say Democrats have repeatedly requested a meeting to negotiate, but the president has essentially, he said, abandoned his post by going on this trip. Why was this trip important now for the White House?
Well, while Democrats themselves are furloughed and not working, the rest of America is working. The farmers are working. The manufacturers are working, and they need to ship their products overseas. We're at a critical time in the world, and we need to make sure that we know who our friends and allies are. And coming on this trip, making these trade deals, making deals on critical minerals, this is a national security issue. It's an economic security issue, and it's critical that the president be here. And we've already seen a great outcome today. We signed 2 full trade deals with Malaysia and Cambodia. 2 agreements in principle with Thailand and Vietnam. We made critical minerals deals. We did a peace deal between Thailand and Cambodia. I mean, this is the president's job, and he's doing it.
Ambassador Greer, we appreciate your time. Safe travels, sir. See you soon.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Hey, it's Will Kane. Click here to subscribe to the Fox News channel on YouTube. It's the best way to get our latest interviews and highlights. And click to subscribe to the Will Kane podcast for full episodes right now.